guys, it's Shelby. So I just want to say thank you. Like, holy guacamole. Thank you. I've never ever thought to myself that I am good at talking or am a good mental health advocate. Not even a little bit. The amount of support and likes that I got and the comments. I literally was crying that night out of like pure shock and happiness. Like, I've never had so many people say such nice things about me. I was sitting at home and I was talking to Tom, my boyfriend, and I was like, this is crazy. And he was like, you're amazing. And I don't know how you don't see that. All these people do. Like, Shelby, you're awesome. Like, just keep doing it. And I was like, what? And then I talked to my mom. My mom was like, Shelby, like, you need to just keep chugging. Just keep doing it. Like, all these people care. Like, keep going. Like, you got this. And so that was crazy. And then on top of it, I had people asking me for advice. What? And I guess I won't go into like a super big amount of detail about that, but I did have like a few people who asked me about just like specific questions or things that I talked about in the first video that I didn't really go into like a ton of detail about, that they had more questions about, and so they like personally like messaged me or whatever. And I just want to say that I wish I would have had somebody on my, like, just not even Facebook, but like social media, who had borderline and talked about it. And I never did until this. I've met some super cool people, and I've found some super cool like social media pages about borderline that I never even knew existed until I did this. So that's awesome. But I guess I'll get into it. Back to the questions part. I had a lot of people ask me about borderline. What is borderline? How do you deal with something that's so hard? I had people ask me about specific anxiety relieving things that I talked about. I had other people ask me about how can you have so many diagnoses. I kind of thought that when you had mental health, it was just labeled as one. So I kind of want to talk about those specific things in this specific video for the people who genuinely struggle with it, or if you just want to be more informed, or if somebody that you love has struggled with this or is struggling with this, how you can maybe help them or talk to them about it. So basics. Borderline, what is it? How do you deal with it? Borderline personality disorder is obviously in the name. It's a personality disorder. It is where you don't form healthy relationships. You don't have healthy boundaries with people. And that's all. That's not just like, oh, I don't have a healthy boundary with this person. It's all relationships, from your mom to your friends to your boyfriend to your family members to your distant relatives. You don't have healthy relationships with people. And it's thought to be caused by things that happen when you're a child. So in the first video, I talked a bit about how I went through like a 4 to 5 year traumatic, I guess it'd be considered time. I don't know. Like, I went through 4 years at least of a very hard part, and they were very crucial parts of my childhood and growing up. And so because of that, that is why I have this. Borderline is very hard to explain. It's not like other mental issues where like it's a very easy outline to kind of look at and see if you have it. It's very hard. I personally did not believe my doctors when they told me that I had it. I went online and I took a bunch of borderline personality tests, like, do I have borderline? And every single one of them said that I was on the severe scale of it. So I definitely have it. I've been formally diagnosed with it for almost 2 years now, so quite a long time. And sadly, getting diagnosed with this has really like kickstarted my whole wanting to get help. Otherwise, I was fully prepared to float through my life miserable, which is really sad. It's so sad to say that, but it's true. So to explain it in a way that kind of makes sense to other people is you're pretty much doing whatever you can to please other people, get other people to notice you, make friends, because a lot of people that have borderline have described themselves as loners or being lonely, which is not fun. It's not fun to be lonely, and so you're just trying to form attachments with anybody. So if you were to tell me, hey, my name is da 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 da, and I like swimming, basketball, and I love to crochet, I would be like, oh, I love to crochet too, and I just watched that basketball game on TV, and I think I'm an excellent swimmer. And then you would go home that night and you would do all this research on crocheting, and you would try to learn how to crochet because you want to be this person's friend so bad. And then you would spend staying up all night long, researching basketball because you don't really understand it and you actually really hate it to be this person's friend. And you do that with almost everybody that you are trying to form a relationship or a bond with. So that's how bad it can be, and that's how severe it can be, and you have to understand that's not how healthy friendship works. You're not going to like everything that your best friend likes, and vice versa. That's not it. It's not a copy and paste of a friend. That's not what a friend is. And so because of that, in a borderline person's brain, that doesn't make sense, because you get so wrapped up in trying to be like other people that you genuinely don't know things about yourself. And that's sad. Like, a lot of people that have borderline, I have a few friends that I talk to that have it. They say all the time how 21 questions or what's your favorite blank questions are the biggest triggers for them, because you don't want to say the wrong thing to make other people not like you. You don't want to be too opposite from other people to where they don't like you, and you want to be pleasing for other people so they do like you. And this is all happening while you and whoever is having a conversation. So it's overwhelmingly hard to do. It's scary how much you can get wrapped up into it and lie. And that's the reality of my story. I would do this all the time. I people pleased my whole flippin' life because I wanted people to like me so badly that I was willing to lie about myself. And that is something that now is so sad to me, that I was willing to just lie to all these people about me. Like they obviously want to get to know you, but in your brain, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they want to get to know me? Like, I want to be like you is like what it's like. And attachments are very hard. And so when you have borderline, you do have like a favorite attachment, or in a lot of ways it's described as like your favorite person. You have your favorite person. So for me, to, I guess, not just talk like a doctor, for me, my favorite person, I've had 3 favorite people in my life. 2 of them I no longer talk to or deal with because of the issue with the relationship, or, they moved on. So the first person that I ever remember getting attached to was my 5th grade teacher, and I had her in 4th grade, and I never really got attached to her in 4th grade, I guess. She was a very like, she was a pretty young teacher, and she was very like positive and like vibrant. That's like the best way I could describe her, is positive and vibrant. And I wanted to be like that so badly that I found it intimidating when I first met her. Like, I would just shut down. I would get so shy and terrified because I just wanted to be like her. And then I realized, hey, be like her. Do it. Like, if you like that, do it. And so I literally would like stay in for recess and talk with her to get to know her more, and I cared about her opinion, and, you know, I would wear things to get compliments from her, and I just cared about her and her opinion only, that in elementary school, I wanted to be friends with this, you know, 28-year-old woman and not people my own age. And that's really sad. Like, it's so sad and crazy. And that's what I wanted. That was what I wanted this person to like me. I wanted, you know, that's all I thought about. That's all that consumed my brain, was just getting this lady to notice me more than just a teacher. And obviously that's, I don't want to say inappropriate, because none of this is inappropriate. It's how your brain is wired. This is not something that you can help. It's not something that you can just change. It's not something that you pick. It's something you deal with. And people don't understand that. They don't. And that's the problem with this, is it's so hard to understand if you don't know what it's like. And that's the whole point of doing this, is just to get people to kind of get it, or at least kind of get it, or understand it a little bit better. And then the second person was a girl I went to high school with, and I'd known her for a really long time, and then in like 9th grade, I realized I wanted to be like her. We were never really friends. We were never close. I wouldn't go up to her and talk to her, just because I was so scared of being considered like a creepy stalker person. So I kept like my distance from this person, and I would just hear things from other people, and I would be like, okay, like, I definitely want to be like that. I definitely want to, you know, include that in my personality, and I want to be like that, and so on. And that lasted up until like 11th grade. And then I went a long time from 11th grade till I was like 19 without having a favorite person. And that's when I would say my mental health was very like mundane, it didn't go up, but it didn't go down. And I thought that was okay. And that's numb. That's just being numb. And I did that for years, which is so sad. And it breaks my heart. And it wasn't because people weren't pushing me to get the help that I needed. It was genuinely because I just didn't want to. I didn't want to do it. I was over it, whatever. And then I met my current boyfriend. I met Tom, and immediately, I never had an attachment like this. I immediately grabbed him and scooped him up, and I was like, you're my favorite person. The first night that we hung out, we stayed up very late and talked all night long. And I don't want to say that I lied, but like, I definitely opened up to this person way more than I should have upon meeting him. And when I was opening up, I explained that I, you know, had a mental illness or mental illnesses or whatever. And he was understanding of that. And that's not normal. That is not a normal thing to happen. He is a true gem. True gem, because that should be like, most people would be like, oh, like, I don't know, like, this girl's crazy. And that's how it'd been every other time that I tried to tell people about it. But that's not how he took it. And God bless him. Bless his soul. Bless his soul. And he did not understand it, but he just took it and ran with it. And he hasn't always done great with it. And because of my family and just being honest with him about being, I guess, sick or having a mental illness, has helped so much. I don't think you should ever lie about it. I don't think you should hide it. I think you should just be able to say, I have, you know, whatever it is that you're struggling with. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, eating disorder, whatever it is. Just say it like you would, like, I have chronic pain, or I have diabetes, or I have arthritis, or I have a broken bone. It should be that easy to say. I wish people would accept it, and I wish we could just live in a place that was accepting of it, but unfortunately that's not how it is. And the person that I got attached to, I got lucky, and he was a true gem. Now, just because I'm my favorite person is my boyfriend does not mean that's a good thing. Because your mood fluctuates with them. So if they're having a great day, you're having a fabulous day. It's like the biggest rush. Like, it's almost like a drug, like, honestly. Like, if he's happy, like, I am so immensely happy, but if he's sad, I am so immensely sad. My emotions reflect on his. And so, and that's not every day. That's not every day. That's just when I'm not coping with my borderline. I have to cope with this every single day. It's not like I can do this for a day and then I'm good for a month. That's not how this works. It's every single day. I have to work at this. There are things that I have to do to make this easier for myself. So things that work for me with borderline is I have to plan. If I don't plan things, I don't do them. If I don't write them down, I don't do them. I have a big old planner and I write everything down that I have to do, whether it's for work, for stuff around the house, like chore lists, grocery lists, whatever. I write all of that out. I write out goals that I want to complete for the day, and things that I want to work on for my mental health. I write, I used to one of the big things that I would do is I would let myself run out of medication and I wouldn't get it for like a week, and then I would go and get it. And then I would struggle for like 3 months while my body was getting back on it and like readjusted to it. And so I'm very careful about that. I do a lot of research on this, not just on borderline, but on everything. And then I guess would bring us into the next thing that I wanted to talk about. You can have multiple diagnoses. That's something that I think is like a really big misconception, is that you just get labeled with one. And that's not true. You can have multiple things and they can contradict each other. We're all complex. We're all our own person. And so some diagnoses are very complex, whereas others are not. So, and I'm not saying if you have, just depression that, oh, you're not as far off as I am. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, everybody's different and how everybody takes things is different. And being aware of that is the point. Like, you need to be aware and you need to work at it. It's not something that you can just wake up and, like, convince yourself you're going to have a good day and you're going to have a good day. That's not how this works. If you're having a good day, if I'm having a good day, that doesn't mean that I don't do the things that I have to do because I'm having a good day. That doesn't mean that I don't journal. It doesn't mean I don't talk about negative things. That doesn't mean that I don't research. That doesn't mean that I don't, like, clean my house. That doesn't mean that I don't feed my dog or take my dog for a walk because I'm having a good day. Or if I'm having a bad day, same thing. I still do the same things. It's about consistency. And with borderline, that's the thing that helps the most people, is being consistent, scheduling, and just doing your tasks and checking them off. And you're probably thinking, how does that help me with relationships? Gotta start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. And that's the one piece of advice that I wish somebody would have told me when I was opening this book, was you have to start small. You can't just wake up and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna, talk about all my triggers and I'm gonna do a bunch of research and then I'm gonna lay in bed all day. No. You have to do it. You have to. And if you don't, you might get better for a week or a month or a year, but it's always gonna be there. It's always gonna come back. And that's just the reality of it. If you just can't not take care of yourself. Eventually it will catch up with you. And that's the sad part. People that I know that I knew when I was younger, that had mental health issues and they didn't confront it and do things about it, now some of them are drug addicts, some of them party way too much and, get themselves in really risky situations and do stupid things. Other ones have had kids really young, and that was something that they didn't want to do and ended up happening, again, with the risky behavior thing. And I just would push you to just know yourself and boundaries. With borderline, boundaries, if you don't have them, but you're around yourself with someone that does have them, you need to set boundaries. You need to make it so when you're going to the grocery store or leaving for a weekend away, or they're not going with you, that they're going to be okay. And they don't need to be attached to your hip. And try not to feed into it. That's probably the worst thing that you can do, is to feed into it. It starts out very small. for me personally, with like my boyfriend, it was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the grocery store without you. I'm gonna be back at this time and I'm leaving at this time. And it was very specific. And then it got longer. Like this past year, he went on a fishing trip up or to North Dakota for a week. And I did it. I freaking did it. I was fine. That's never happened in our relationship. I've never been to that point where I could do that or let go of it. And that's just something that I am so proud of myself for. And he's so proud of me for. And everybody in my life is like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're doing it. And yeah, that's just crazy to me that it's gotten that far. Like, wow. Wow. So I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about this time. Same thing as last time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, I would please message me. Just please. I answered everybody last time, and I'm going to do the exact same this time. And I appreciate everybody that watched this, and I hope you have a great day or night. And thank you. I appreciate it.